Alright, welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode 229. Yeah, originally I was hoping to do more of the movies that came after the return movies, but lucky enough since I reviewed them, I decided not to. I talked about it in the last episode. So we're here discussing the newest episode for Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 20. Yes, 20. Known as Prestige. Kind of a very interesting one this time. One thing, Nem is actually there throughout a lot of the episode. Compared to the last episode, she was barely there. So, the whole thing is infiltrating the enemy base. And so we have Baku just going to sleep, going to Dream World, and becomes an adventure game. Where we have these two kids who are monks who go on an adventure, and they're being chaperoned by Hero Nem. Yep. And Baku is going along under the alias of Villager A, which they think he can't do much anything, but he actually can. Meanwhile, though, Code 6 gets back her henshin device, which apparently her thing is to basically find the enemy base too, kind of slightly different mission, and she's working with Code 3. So we see her in the dream world, and she shoots Nox. Nox doesn't notice the fact that he shot her, that she saw him. Well, actually, he knows that he shot at him, but didn't realize that she planted a tracker on him, which of course she informs us to Lord 3, and then they go hunting for him after he's seen watching Baku, does not interact with him. Not really. He is seen briefly by Nem, but I think this is probably the first episode of this whole show where Nox does not interact with Baku. You're like, that is interesting. Yeah, no interaction with him. I don't think he even knew he was even there. There's a nightmare there, obviously. So, and then we have where, then 6 basically just confronts him on this bridge, and then here's basically Code 3 in his Lord 3 form, which is his own version of a Kamen Rider, and then Nox transforms to Nox Knight, and of course Code 6 is not transformed because she has a henshin device. She is not transformed at all. And then of course Code 3 basically battles him, and Lord 3 battles him, takes him to like a torch chamber, and mentions stuff happening, and that's it for them. I gotta admit, basically, at least 3 is actually doing something, because since his debut, he has done nothing except maybe be a Baku in his second episode. But he has not done much anything. Not in the slightest. But here's a question, though. So, if Nox was Code 4, we have Code 3, Code 6 here, and of course Baku is Code 7, who is Codes 1, 2, and 5? That is a really good question. I'm sure we might explore that over the course of the show. I wonder what these other 3 agents are. Yep, so they go on a little adventure. The kid basically, of course, when they see a nightmare, the dream is interrupted. But he did manage to take a picture of him. Yes, first time that Baku's ever taken a picture of any of the nightmares that has appeared, throughout this entire show. And little thing with this one. So, this is a very childlike one. Yes, so he chases him around a lot of the episode, beats him up. So, here's the thing. So, we're in episode 20. We've only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is only the 11th nightmare that has appeared throughout the show. And the current nightmare they have here has appeared for a few episodes now. Apparently, Nem saw him in the previous episode, And the whole thing is Nox, I think it's Baku chasing him around after he sees him second time. Oh, and also there are two allies of Skibiro, Nagamo and it's Fujima and Nagamo, where they apparently they know about the kid who they met in this episode, which okay, interesting. So apparently she apparently regained her memory. So, and then at one point because dream is interrupted, so then we have where Baku just goes back to sleep. Obviously. Yeah, but there's not really a lot else basically going on here. It's like they chase around, tease some stuff. It's the best way to so we apparently do see the debut of Lord 5. I don't have a picture of him. I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah. We kind of see his suit. Yeah, we do. We do see. I thought it was 3 suits. No, it's actually 5 suit. Okay, interesting. So we get his debut here. And I thought 3 got a chance to suit up here, but no, he did not. Not in this particular episode. But he does have a suit. Yeah, so it has a cape with it, which is interesting. I wonder what's going to make his debut here. That's a really good question. But it's also great to see Korha here in this episode. And I also like the fact that she's kind of made a regular character in the show. Yeah. Because I like the actors. I think she does a great job with what she's given. And this is only like the second Toku series she's been involved with. Which is interesting. Yes, because mostly put, she's just been associated for the last few years with King Ultra. Yes, that's what she's been associated with. And this is the first non-Zeztz series she's been involved with. Also, here's a little thing about her. Apparently, her co-star, Shoku, he played the Black King Ultra. Apparently, his birthday, her birthday, were both one day apart. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. Of course, he's currently 35 years old, and she is 24. Yep, 11 years younger. She's, of course, I'm older than she is. But, yeah. Not much else to say, otherwise, but just a really good episode. Yep. And how many more left to go? Also, before I end it here, this is the first episode of the show where, since her debut, the lady does not make an appearance. Yeah, she does not appear in this episode, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm like, debuts in 15? This is the first episode she's missed. I mean, she's credited for this episode, but she's not here. Oh, yeah, she is not here. Kind of interesting, though. Occasionally curious, the actress who plays Lady is currently at the age of 41. Doesn't look too bad for her age, per se. Yeah, but this is like the first Kamen Rider stuff she's been involved with. Because it seems as though, like, she's only been acting since 2003. Okay, it looks like she's mostly on stage. So it's not until like 2011 is when she finally did some stuff here. But this is the first Toku show she's involved with, which is interesting to say the least. Yeah, very first one. Because I think she mostly does on dramas before this, and now she just does this show. But not really much else to say about the episode. Side effect is actually pretty good. Now, of course, the very next episode will be noteworthy, being the final episode of a Commodore series, as of recently, to air alongside a Super Sentai. And starting episode 22, it will be airing along. This is basically like the last one to air alongside Super Sentai broadcasts, which that's going to be quite interesting. Yeah, the fact that next episode is going to be the last one to air alongside Sentai. Yep, but let's mention we'll talk about that next week. Well, most of it next weekend. Hopefully, I get a chance to review this someday. Hopefully. So that is pretty much it. Particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. I thought I have time to basically work on Sentai today, but I need to get ready for bed soon, so I'm going to have to basically call it a night here per se. Yes. So I will see you all tomorrow for reviews for Sentai tomorrow, along with some comic corners. Okay. Next video. Bye.